Let's start discussing about the providers and modules. Today we are going to discuss about these two topics. First we will discuss about what are providers, and the most familiar provider that we all know is file system as a provider. We will begin with file system as a provider, then we will talk about other hierarchical data stores which you can browse through PowerShell. Then we will talk about how using wildcards is different when you are dealing with different providers. And then we will talk about how you can browse AD and IIS, these other providers, using PowerShell. So let's first discuss about what are providers. So in PowerShell, anything which has hierarchical data. Let me show you first example, which is the very familiar one. What is hierarchical data? So whenever you see there are multiple layers of information available from a certain data store. So file system is a data store. What is a data store? Again, it is a place where there is some information stored, right? Some data is stored at one particular location. So there can be multiple different types of information or data depending on what you are looking at. The most familiar one is the file system. So file system contains the information about files and folders. That's it, right? It also has the information about apart from the files and folders, it also has the information about the permissions and all. But when we browse the file system, we look at the files, folders and subfolders which are available within the file system. What could be some other kind of data store? That is registry. Now when you go to registry editor, so all of you who are aware about the registry, as a Windows system administrator, we lot of time deal with the registry and registry settings. So this is also a data store where instead of files and folders you have hives. These are called registry hives. There are 5 hives available under registry, out of which there are 2 hives like HKey current user and HKey local machine, which we deal with. Others are used by system. Now this is also a data store where there are multiple layers of information available at multiple levels. So this is the root of HKCU, that is HKey current user. This is the root of HKLM, that is HKey local machine. Under that you will find there are sub keys like this software, system, hardware, drivers and all. So whatever you find under HKey local machine, those are the settings which are applicable to all the users on this computer. HKey current user, these are the settings which are available for the current user who is logged into this computer and browsing the registry, that is me. So these are user level settings, these are machine level settings. Again, there are multiple layers. As you can see, you can drill down to see what is available under each layer. So this is another example of a hierarchical data store. Now, what is a provider? Provider is a mechanism through which PowerShell allows you to browse these data stores from command prompt. Let me show you. The most familiar one is the file system. The default is the file system. So when you log into PowerShell, you will see something colon and then path. This is the path where you are currently. For example, currently I am in C temp, that is under file system provider I am under temp folder. One second. So in this is the present working directory. Under each provider you can see the present working directory with your PowerShell prompt. So currently under file system provider, which is the default provider when you log into PowerShell, I am under drive C. Under that I am under folder temp. So provider is a mechanism which acts as an adapter or the connector between the actual data store and PowerShell. Suppose I want to switch to some other drive inside the file system provider. So first thing that I am to find out is which all drives are available under that provider. To get the list of all the providers, you can use get-ps provider. It will give you the list of providers which are available on this computer. So you have the registry provider, alias, environment, file system, function and variable. First we will discuss about the file system, then we will discuss about registry and remaining providers. So under file system, what all drives are available? C, D and E. So I can switch to these drives by giving command set location and give the name of the drive followed by a colon. For example, if I want to switch to D drive, I can use D colon. There is an alias available for set location called CD. CD stands for change drive. Using that also I can switch to any of these drives. Now when you are inside that drive, when you run this command dir, which is actually the alias for get child item, it will show you what all child items are available under that drive. So on E drive there is nothing. If I go to cd d colon and give get child item, which is an alias, which is the command for the alias that we are using called dir. So both will give you the same results. So these are the folders or the child items which are available under D drive. That is why this command is called get child item. This command does not say get files and folders or get files or get folders or get registry keys. This is a generic command which is going to help you to browse anything, whether you are browsing file system or you are browsing registry. Now if we repeat that command get-ps provider, as you can see for registry, the drive names are HKLM and HKCU. Now similar to how we are browsing the file system, in the same fashion you can browse registry also using PowerShell. You can say change location or change drive to HKLM. Don't forget to give that colon, because colon indicates that we are trying to switch to that drive. We are not trying to switch to a folder. Now see, the prompt has changed from D to HKLM. Now here if I run this command dir or get child item, it will show me the list of registry keys which are available under that location. Now there is a registry key for which I don't have permission. The key name is HKLM security. Even from this GUI, if I try to browse to that location security, I am not able to see anything under that. So if I want to see that, I have to provide myself the permission. I can add administrator or my current local account here and then allow full permission. Then I will not get this error. But I don't want to do that because this is a system related key which I don't want to mess up. So we can ignore this error which it is giving for the security key. Now if I want to browse HKCU, I can use cd HKCU colon. So when I give dir, it will show me all the items available under HKCU, their sub items like you can see here. So app events, and under app events there is nothing available directly on the right hand side. That's why you see it is not showing anything under app events. But when you select console, there are a lot of things which are available under console which you can see here on the right hand side. Same thing will appear here. So this is how you can browse the file system and registry using providers. So provider is nothing special. There is no extra software that you are installing. There is nothing extra. It is just how you browse the existing data stores using PowerShell with these commands. Any questions? Are we all on the same page? Okay, so we have seen file system and registry. Let's check what other hierarchical data stores are available in PowerShell. Now first we have ran the command get-ps provider, which was giving us the list of the provider names and the drives. If you want to find list of all the PS drives, these drives, it's just switching the columns. The command is get-ps drive. Instead of showing the providers and then showing the drives, it will first show you the drives and it will give you the details about the provider in some other column. So here the drives are primary. So these are the drives which are available. Now there is one more thing which is revealed here, WSMan. We will discuss about WSMan when we will discuss about PowerShell remoting, and we will discuss about variable when we will discuss about, there are few things which we will not discuss at present, variables and WSMan. Other things we will see one by one. Alias. The command get-alias gives you the list of aliases, and those aliases are stored in the alias provider. You can use cd alias colon and give dir, it will show you list of aliases. Got it? So here it is just giving you the details about the aliases stored inside the PowerShell, and those aliases are stored under this drive. That's why this is not available outside of PowerShell. This provider is available only inside PowerShell because these aliases are used only by PowerShell. In Windows command prompt, these aliases will not work. Now this C, D and E we have already seen. Let's talk about certificate provider. Certificate provider is the provider which stores information about all the cryptographic certificates which are available on this computer. So you can use CD cert colon dir. There are two stores. One is for current user, one is for local machine. Local machine certificates are available for all the users. Current user certificates are available only for the current user. One more thing I would like to bring to your notice. Suppose you are at C drive, CD C drive. Without getting into that provider, you can see the contents of that provider when you give dir cert colon backslash. Suppose you want to find what are the certificates available under local machine. You can just give local machine cert colon local machine. It will show you these are the certificate stores. Now if you want to browse any of these certificates, you can use, for example, root to see list of all the root certificates. Now this is the place where you can find the details about all the root certificates available on this computer. This is the certificate thumbprint. This is the certificate subject. Now if you want to find the expiry date of a particular certificate, you can specify the certificate thumbprint here. Now those who are working as IIS admins, they might have to deal with this kind of situations where they want to find out. Now you can pipe it to format list star to see all the details about that certificate. Now it will give you the details about the expiry date, not after. Means the certificate is not valid after. Not before means the issue date, when this certificate was issued. This is how you can find the expiry date of a particular certificate. So this information is accessible from command prompt through the certificate provider. And you don't need to get into a provider by giving CD that provider name. You can browse it from anywhere. Even if you are inside file system provider, you can browse certificate store. Even if you are inside certificate store, you can browse file system by giving the complete path of the location that you want to browse. Any questions, team? I see everybody is silent. Are we all on the same page? I hope I am not making you sleepy this morning. So are we all getting the subject, what is going on? Yeah, if you have any questions, just stop me and ask your questions. Don't just continue with the flow. Okay, now let's take a look at the other drives which are pending. We have seen aliases, file system, certificate. Now let's talk about env. Now if you go to your system properties, for example, if I right click here, click on the advanced system settings. Now here you will find something called as environmental variables. How many of you know what is the environmental variable? What are these environmental variables? Does anyone know where these are used? Okay, you want me to explain? Okay, so no matter whether you have PowerShell or not, these environmental variables will always be there, and these environmental variables are used by operating system and many other programs to get details about some key details about your operating system. For example, if you want to find out what is the folder in which Windows is installed, so you can get that from WinDir. This is the variable name. Now, earlier when we were installing Windows manually through that CD or that wizard, you were able to change the default location for Windows installation. Instead of selecting C Windows, you can select any other location. For example, you can install it on D:win. Even that could be the folder. Even today, if you customize the installation at granular level, you can change the installation folder for Windows. Now think about a situation whether PowerShell or any other application is pointing to C Windows for Windows installation and trying to find some files. But on a system where the installation was customized and Windows is installed in some other directory, that software or that script will fail, because on that particular computer Windows is not found under C Windows, right? So how to programmatically find out the correct installation folder for Windows? Don't assume that it will always be available on C:Windows. Refer to the environmental variable, because this environmental variable values are dynamically assigned during the installation of operating system. So when you are installing OS, if you are installing OS in some other folder, this WinDir will always give you the correct location. So from traditional command prompt, when you go to CMD, when you echo %windir %, it will always give you the Windows installation folder details. Similarly, now you are writing a program or a script. That script need to find some file on the user's desktop. From user's desktop you want to fetch some file or read some file. So the location of the user desktop folder will be different for every user, right? For me, if I go to, so in Windows you can use cd tilde. Okay, here it does not work. So this is my username and this is my desktop folder path. So suppose there is some other user. If I create here on this computer user1, when I log in with user1, my desktop folder location will not be users /del/desktop. Del is a different user. When I log in with user1, my desktop folder location will be users /user1 /desktop, right? Now how do you find out the current user's desktop folder details? So what you can do is, you can use, instead of hard coded path, you can use %user profile %. It will give you the location of the current user's profile, and instead of giving C users del/desktop, you can use /desktop. So whenever you use %user profile %/desktop, this will work for all the users. If I hard code the location of desktop using this path, it will be wrong, because when I change the user, when I switch to some other user, he might not be able to access this folder because this is a different user. Is it clear? So this way you will find the correct location for user's desktop location or desktop folder. So this is possible because of environmental variables. There are a lot of environmental variables which will get created when you install some software. For example, when you install some Google related software, that software might add certain environmental variables into the memory. If you want to create your own environmental variables, you can also create it by clicking on new, give the variable name and the value. But these variables which are available under user variable section, these are available only for this user. If you want to add a variable which is available for all the users, for example, here I will add one more variable called test variable and test value. Now this is a variable which I have created under system variables. Anybody who is logging onto this computer will be able to access that variable. Now if I check echo percent test var percent, what was the name? Okay, it is not yet loaded into the memory. It will get loaded when you reboot the computer, because these variables are loaded during the boot time into computer's memory. Now next time when I restart this computer, I check the value for test var, it will show test value. So this is how variables work, and these are operating system variables, and these variables are available under PowerShell using environmental variable drive. You can set location, or you can just browse that location using env colon. It will show you all the variables and their values. So as you can see, that test variable is not yet loaded because it will be loaded during the boot time. Any questions? Now few more examples. Suppose I want to get into the temp folder for current user. I can use cd. In PowerShell you can give env colon backslash temp and check the value. Okay, I forgot to give dollar. Here you have to give dollar and no need to give this backslash. This is how you can browse or use the contents of the environmental variable cd env colon temp. The moment I hit enter, I will switch to that folder. So this is the value for temp. So in order to get into the temp folder, I can use cd env colon temp. Now if I want to find the name of this computer, you can use dollar env colon computer name, because there is a variable called computer name available here. See here, and the name of the variable is computer name and the value is IT Pogo. So this is how you can make use of environmental variables in PowerShell. Any questions around this? Yes. Yeah, okay. Okay, so within your scripts, you want to find out your computer name. For example, I want to get services from my computer. You can use env colon backslash, oh sorry, not backslash, computer name, and I want the name as WinRM. So here, instead of providing the computer name, it will read the computer name from the computer name variable. Now this is just one example. Suppose you want to install some file or some program in program files. Now how can you guess whether the folder name for program files is C colon program files only? You can use this variable $env colon backs program files. It will give you the exact location of program files folder. You don't need to guess, and you cannot assume that it will always be C colon program files. You can rely on the variables. Got it? Yes, yes. These environmental variables are useful within the scripts because you cannot assume things in script. You cannot assume that in your script that program files installation folder might be program files only, so I will install it there. No, don't guess. Read it from the environmental variable because it will always give you the correct path for program files. Because earlier, nowadays we don't do that granular level installations to change or customize these things, but earlier when we were installing Windows previous versions, it was asking you for each individual locations. You can choose where you want to install these things. So you should not be guessing anything, you should be reading it from the environmental variables. So number of processors, this is one more thing. Like, yes, yes, yeah, that is the purpose. Yes. Okay, any other questions? Okay, let's move to the next. So we have seen aliases, certificates, file system, environment. Now let's take a look at function. Now when you look at dir function colon, and again regarding functions, for now I will give you just basic information about this. There is a dedicated chapter for writing your own functions. That time we will discuss more about functions. So whatever PowerShell functions which are currently available in memory, those functions will be available under function colon. And if you want to understand how that function works, you can look at the source code of that function. I will show you how. Now when I do C colon, that also works for me. I don't need to just say cd d colon to change to D drive. I can simply use D colon. Now D colon is equivalent to set location D colon. It does the same thing. Now if I want to go back to C drive, I can use C colon. Now the question is, C colon and D colon, these are not PowerShell commands, but how these commands are working in PowerShell. So there is a function for each drive letter that you can see here, cd xyz. Okay, now if you want to check how that function is working, you can use get hyphen content function colon backslash. For example, how this C drive is working, C colon. So C colon is a function name which is getting called when you are running C colon. So this is the function which is getting this is the command which is getting executed when you run C colon. Now don't worry much about this as of now, because when we will discuss about functions in detail, that time you will understand this better. For now, just remember, whatever system defined functions which are available, those are available here with their source code. If you want to, so there is a commandlet called add printer, there is a commandlet called clear host, there is a commandlet called format hex. Even this get verb, we have seen this when we were running with get command. That time we have seen the details about get verb, what that command does. So you can use get content function colon get verb. It will show you the source code of that command. As of now, you don't need to worry about all this. We will cover this later in detail. Okay. So function colon gives you the source code of the details about all the functions which are available in PowerShell. Those might be system defined functions, or those might be the functions which are created by you yourself. Now there is one more thing that we need to discuss about how to use wildcards when you are inside different types of providers. Now there is one thing that everybody might be knowing. When you are creating a new folder, for example here I am trying to rename this folder. If I hit question mark in the folder name, I get this error. File name cannot contain any of the following characters. Star and question mark are also part of the characters which are not allowed as part of the file name. But when you are inside registry, so inside registry there is no restriction. You can have a registry key name containing question mark. As you can see here, question mark is also a valid character, which is not allowed in the file system. Now why we are discussing this about this special characters? Because in file system these special characters are treated different. For example, when I give dir temp question mark, I am actually running the command dir instead of get child item hyphen path test question mark. This is the command which is getting executed when I run dir test question mark, because hyphen path is a positional parameter and get child item is the main command for which dir is an alias. Now what happens with this question mark? Question mark is a wildcard character which represents one single character, and that character can be anything. That question mark can be replaced with any character, and it will include those folders or files in the result. But instead of test question mark, if I use test star, it will show me all the files and folders which begins with test and ends with anything. This time, earlier that question mark was replaceable with 0, 1 and 2. Those were the folders 0, 1 and 2 which were qualifying for the results. But test 22, 23 or 33, these were not included because question mark cannot represent multiple characters. It can represent only one single character, that 0, 1 and 2. But when I use star, it is showing anything that begins with test and ends with anything else. So this is what has been specified, and that star can be replaced with rest everything, any number of characters and any characters. Understood this example about wildcard search? Now this is when it will show you everything where initial 4 characters are test and the last character is anything else. Even if you put test A, B, C, test A, test B, test C, that also will be included, because that question mark is replaceable with any other character. Yes, it is there. No, 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 no. It will show you if any of the items that exist which meets this criteria will be displayed. So out of the items which are there, these 3 items are meeting this criteria. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, that will result those two folders, 22 and 33. Yes, exactly. Question mark represents one single character. If you add two question mark, it can accommodate two single characters. Yes, after test. No, it will not, because it will show you where after test there are two characters. But here after test there is only one character, right? Which one? No, it will not include because question mark does not qualify for the null character. You got it? After 0, if there is nothing, that is null character, right? So it will not accommodate null character as part of question mark. It will only consider where there is actually some character after this first question mark. So this second question mark will look for another character. If it cannot find any other character, it will not show it. Okay. Now these question marks here are acting as the wildcard characters, right? Now let's go to registry cd hkcu colon. Now here when I give dir, I have test 0, 1, 2 and question mark. Now if I give get hyphen child item hyphen path test question mark, what's going on? It is showing me all the registry keys where the key name begins with test and ends with anything else, because this question mark is considered as a wildcard character that includes 0, 1, 2 and question mark itself, right? But you know what? This is a problem. There is something under test, like there is something under test 0. If I want to see what is there under test 0, I can give test 0 get child item path test 0. It will show me the sub key and the items under that sub key. See here, it is showing me what is under test 0, right? It is showing me the sub key and the item under sub key, but I am not able to do that with test question mark because I cannot see this, because this question mark is getting treated as a wildcard character. Then how to deal with this situation? What if I want to see what is there inside test question mark key? I have to use the parameter literal path. There is a parameter called literal path which will not consider this question mark as a wildcard character. It will consider it as the part of the key name and will show me what is actually there under that key. And when I don't use literal, I just give path, it will show me the results considering this as a wildcard character. Understood the difference? Yeah, dir is just an alias, right? So you can use literal path with dir also. Like this. So this is just to show you how you can suppress the meaning of wildcards. Instead of using them as wildcards, how to literally consider them as part of the item name. Got it? Now let me show you an example how to create a registry key using PowerShell. Suppose you want to create a new registry key using PowerShell. Now I will create another key here called test9. How to do that? Even if you are at C drive, if you want to create a new registry key, you can use this command new hyphen item and path hkcu colon backslash test9. Now if you want to create multiple keys recursively, you can create like this. So even this does not exist, This is also currently not present. So you want to create both of these, use hyphen force. It will create both of these keys, one under another. Now go back here. Yes, yes. Now here if I refresh the registry now, those keys which I have created using commands will be displayed. Test 9, under test 9 I have created sub 9. Now how to create the registry item? These are keys. How to create the item? Like under sub 2 you have sub item 2 and test value. How to create that item? Using, you can create that using new hyphen item property. This is the item property, and give the path hkcu colon backslash test 9 and sub 9. Name of the item, I will give it any name, created by PowerShell, and the value test value, and the type. So in registry there are different types of registry items that you can create: string, multi-string, dword. So you can refer to the documentation for remaining type. I will just show you a string. So this item is created. You can go back and refresh. So this is the registry item created by PowerShell, and this is the test value. Got it? Now assignment for you guys is to go back in your company environment and browse the Active Directory as a provider. How to do that? I am including that in this video recording. First you have to run this command: import hyphen module Active Directory. On my computer this command is going to fail because this is not part of a domain, but for you this will work. Active Directory is not found. After that, when you run this command get hyphen ps drive, you will be able to see here AD colon is also listed. You will see under the name, you will find AD is also there. Now then you can do CD AD colon. Now obviously this will fail for me, but for you it should work. Then in order to get into any folder under Active Directory provider, you can use cd dot backslash, and it will show you what all things you can browse from Active Directory provider. Use dot backslash to pop up this IntelliSense and try to browse Active Directory. Don't try to change anything. If you have domain admin rights, you might delete or mess up something. Just do it in read-only mode. Similarly, if you have IIS, you can run import hyphen module web administration. Again this will fail because I don't have IIS. After that, when you run get ps drive, you will be able to see IIS listed here. You can do cd IIS colon. It will allow you to browse the application pools and websites which are available on your web server. So this is an assignment for all of you. which you can complete from your company environment. I cannot show you here because this is a normal workstation work group where I don't have IDE or IIS. Any other questions? No, no, you can import. You will always have the read-only access to Active Directory. And remember, when you are browsing Active Directory, don't start PowerShell as administrator. That way, you will save yourself from accidentally deleting or modifying anything in Active Directory. It will not allow you to modify, but it will allow you to read. You can browse it without any issues. Only when you try to change something, you will get error. And that is what we want. We don't want to change anything. We just want to browse it. Got it? Okay, let me stop the recording. Before I stop, let me just brief. We have seen what are providers, file system as a provider, other providers which are available in PowerShell. We have seen how wildcards act different when you are inside a different provider. And this is an assignment to browse Active Directory and IIS in the live environments. Let me stop the recording.